Some people filing in. Sorry. Whoa. Tricorder. Welcome, welcome. So, here we are, week 5. Does everybody know everything they need to know about glazes? Yeah, you're all good. Go take a nap and have a snack. Yeah, it's okay. Last night was the last meeting for my Glaze class, and almost all the students in the Glaze class had taken the Glaze class previously, and we still had a 3-hour hangout with lots of questions. So I'm okay. I'm ready. I got my tea. I got a backup water. Let's see if I have to take a potty break. So let's see. So today we did have the colors lecture up. We've also, in the last week, we have done flaws and special effects, and as well as finishing up the boron and temperature discussions. And I know that might have been what we talked about last week, but I'm sure people were tentative about it or have more questions or anything like that. So, you know, feel free to pose. I mean, any question is on the table at this point. One thing I would say on a technical aspect, if I start breaking up, please let me know. I think I have the problem fixed, but we were having some issues last night. But if I start breaking up, please don't hesitate to say. So, does anybody want to start out?
You mentioned titanium not being subject to reduction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, rutile is a mix of titanium and iron, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, does that additional iron, I guess it would play a part in why you can get rutile blues and reduction?
Right. Because, remember, the blue reactions in reduction are iron-based. Okay? That's the classic you know, the Chinese blues, the Tashane stuff of, you know, all of his stuff about those iron blues. And actually, I, you know, got my copy of Chinese Glazes, lots and lots of iron blues. You got that for Christmas?
Yeah, my engineer son hands me this book.
It's a great book, and it's fantastic because if you make a few tweaks to the spreadsheet, you can actually get the UMF of glazes straight out of here. And that's at one point, there's been one slide where I showed one of my triaxials, and there were Chinese glazes. Or no, I'm sorry, it was on Stull. I was plotting ancient Chinese glazes on Stull, and that was, I had reverse engineered them from Wood's book.
So tweaks, you just have to add those materials?
No, actually, what you have to do is you have to skip the actual enter the formula part.
Oh, okay.
And what you actually do is, okay, let's see if I can screw up the screen share. Everybody get ready for the freak out. Okay. What you actually do, everybody see the spreadsheet right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Is you come over here to the part where the calculations happen, and you just enter your formula here under molar.
Ah, okay.
And then it'll still spit it out, or you enter his formula, the chemical analysis, under molar.
Right. Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry, not molar. I'm sorry. Nope, strike that. It's this line here, which is the sum of the analysis.
Oh, right. So you just put it, and that's how all his glazes are expressed anyway, I think.
Yep. So if you just plug that in, the calculator will do the rest as far as converting it to UMF. And, you know, I mean, the formulas all fit. You know, I mean, they're amazingly rugged formulas. You know, because the Chinese knew what they were doing. They don't mess around.
As far as the calculator goes, make sure I'm understanding what I think I understand. If you're working with cone 6, it's pretty much the same flux ratios, silica-alumina relationship with boron added. And it's up to 0.15. So you said up to 0.5 with cone 04? if you want to go lower. What if you want to go down to something like, I'm just started teaching a raku class tonight, and I thought, well, we'll just do a little more with glazes than I've done in the past. 06, 05, that 0.5 is probably still good for that, I guess.
Well, it is, because all of those temperatures do have a range, and this goes to Scott's question last week about sort of limits. And I don't like to think of it as limits so much as what you can do within an applicable range. And so it comes back to this document where, that you can basically predict based on temperature, and you have some wiggle room plus or minus there. So, yeah, I mean, you want to go down to cone 08, 1050, so maybe you want to come up to, well, yeah, somewhere in there. And again, it's with a range. Right. And, that the interesting thing that this defines is that, and this is something that we get into in glazes too, is that although you don't need boron at cone 10, what we can do is by combining the understanding of boron limits and define the understanding of Stull, what you can actually do is design glazes. Oh, of course I don't have a Stull in here. Design glaze. Oh, there's the Chinese wood Stull. Is design glazes that actually function up here on Stull in this area that actually dries out. Okay, because like I said, that this is idealistic. This doesn't actually work. But that these, as soon as you add in boron, it will actually begin to melt glazes up here, which can be a lot of fun to play with as far as thermal expansion and different durabilities of glazes or slightly higher temperature glazes. It's really fun.
That's neat.
And so, yes, and you can do the same thing in reverse, right, where you can use that to push the temperature down. How low it'll actually go, I mean, I tested to 1025, which is, where's my cone chart? I don't even remember these temperatures. Reference. Cones. It's pretty low.
It's down there a ways.
Yeah, that's cone 05.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it's here. It's cone 05 and a half.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so you want to take it to 08, 950? Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, take it to 0.6, 0.7. And some of these other boron sources, again, we haven't really explored some of the other sources, but if you come into something like Fritz 3185, right? So, well, that's the whole formula. But 3180.
Yeah, it's got a lot of boron in it.
Right. It's all boron and sodium. Okay, so that's a very interesting thing to play with, because then you can come in and add in some calcium, 0.3, 20, 20, 15, 10, 12. So as soon as you balance it, you've got a 0.3 to 0.7. You've got 1.29 boron to play with, which is an interesting place to be. To see what you can do with it. And you add in 10% clay, and now all of a sudden you've got something that's really low temperature.
Right.
And the interesting thing about this is that you're also not left with only using calcium, which can be a bummer at lower temperatures because so many of the Fritz are tied into calcium. But you could say come in here with barium, right, and then balance it out with barium, 20, and then start to play with it all over again, which would make a really interesting new palette of cone 04 glazes based on the color talks today of how color is affected by RO.
I haven't used barium, and I still have some, but I haven't used it in years.
Oh, man, it's the best.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask about barium and house and food safety.
Hold on one second. Okay, let me get back to the talk. Freezing up.